Hello everyone, welcome to episode 2 of Coffee and Life. Today the topic I'm going to talk about is body image and the issues around it. A quick thank you to everyone for their love and support. I really appreciate it. And also a disclaimer that I'm not an expert or a trained professional. All I'm doing here is just sharing my experiences and viewpoints in the hopes that we can start a healthy conversation and discussion. Now, body image issues, I personally feel that the central problem lies in the image part of this phrase, right? So you have an image or a perception in your mind of how you look, and that is the image that you sort of project outwardly. And what people mostly feel is that everyone else is also judging us or looking at us with the same lens that we are viewing ourselves, right? Which is really a issue over here, because there are several factors which sort of influence how anyone would perceive or look at us. But body image issues is something that is very inwardly, it's something very personal to how you feel and to your perceptions. Having said that, uh, another tricky thing about body image issues is that this is one of those things which can be, in again my personal experience, a very sort of silent and quiet thing. Because mostly when people are asking about it or are talking about, hey, do I look do I look all right in this, do I look good, is this jacket all right, or does this trousers fit right or not, people can usually give you a comment or they joke around it, right? So this is one of those things which can really slip through the cracks. So that's why I think like it's really important to talk about it. Now, from my personal experience, people who know me for a long time know that I used to be quite large up until, I would say, like 2015 actually. But up until that point, I never really had any body image issues because I was sort of very satisfied with who I was. I thought, and I still feel, that I had an amazing personality. I could talk to people. I was really confident, outgoing, social, and I had never really thought about how I looked, or what sort of my image was to other people. Sure, there were moments when I would be like around in town shopping and I would like a certain shirt or a certain jacket and it would not fit me properly because of my size, but I never really thought much about it. So in 2015 is when I finally, due to a variety of factors, which I would like to clarify, mainly because of internal factors. So it was not because of a girl. It was not because I wanted to like suddenly become a model. I started mostly that journey because I wanted a healthy lifestyle and I wanted to bring about some changes, right? And I remember it started really slowly and gradually, from fixing my eating habits to picking up sports and hobbies and going to the gym. And slowly and gradually, over the period of, I would say, 1.5 years, I managed to reach a level where I was getting a lot of compliments from people. Everyone was, sort of saying that, oh, yeah, you look really nice. You've brought around a really amazing change. But around that same point, while I was really happy and glad that people were complimenting me, something else started happening, which was that every time I looked at myself in the mirror, I felt dissatisfied with my progress. And I was like, no, I can push myself harder. I can achieve a better result. I can sort of, go the distance on this one. And that, for me at least, that was the beginning of where I started developing body image issues, right? I had an issue with how I looked. And what I ended up doing was, there were like two or three key sort of mistakes or sort of pain points, as I like to call them. One, when I was in the gym, I was constantly comparing myself to other people inside the gym. And I was looking at this guy, and with his 10% body fat, and he could lift more weights than I could, or that other chap who was like running on the treadmill more than I could. And in my head I was like, oh, I can put in all the effort, but I can't do that. I can't lift that much weight, or I can't run for that long. And those thoughts sort of started consuming me on the inside. They started eating me, right? I'll come back to this one on how I sort of finally managed to overcome that issue. The second thing that was happening was that I started seeking validation and acceptance from the people around me. Now, let me really clarify that wanting to be feel validated or accepted by other people is a normal human emotion. We are social animals after all. That is how we work, right? I'm a son. I want to be accepted and validated by my mother, which, luckily I am. My friends sort of validate my existence, and in the sense of as a, good friend. And that is how it works. But where it gets really unhealthy is when you forget to validate yourself, when you forget to accept yourself for who you are, recognize the efforts that you're making, and sort of, yeah, just be happy with who you are. I'm not arguing about are there certain, the correlation between health and size, because I'm not going to touch on that topic. All I'm saying is that we really need to sort of accept who we are and so work ourselves towards betterment from that. Which, remember, as I said, all my life I had sort of accepted who I was. I accepted that I was a large person, and in 2015, after that acceptance is when I started slowly and surely building myself towards a more of a healthier lifestyle, which is absolutely fine to do. But yes, so in my case, what started happening was that I would start going. So usually I would shop alone. But when this issue was in full force, I would like usually take my friends with me to the mall. And if I'm wearing a shirt, I would constantly ask them. I would take pictures from different angles and send it to my other friends and really judge myself and my sort of personality in terms of how I looked, my outwards personality in terms of how much they were literally rating me or ranking me, which is a very unhealthy way to go about it. Right. So these are the two issues that I was facing. Now I'll quickly come back to the first issue where I was comparing myself with other people in the gym. And one day, very randomly, I went up to one of the guys who, in my head, looked amazing. And, he was what I would call my ideal body image. And I was like, hey, dude, like I was just talking to him. And then he told me that he had been exercising and eating healthy for the last 6 years of his life. And that point really got to me because he dropped that very casually in the conversation. But in my head, I was like, oh, he has been doing this thing for 6 years consistently. And mind you, at that point, I had been in the gym for like 1.5 year tops, and I was not consistent enough, right? And that is the first time I realized that I can surely not compare my progress or my body to his body because of the sheer factor that he has put in more time and effort. Of course, he has a better result. It's like saying that, oh, I'm not the CEO of Google. Of course, I'm not the CEO of Google because I have not put in that level of effort and knowledge and I don't have those expertise. The second thing that I got from some of my personal research was that it's a bit of a controversial thing, but genetics do play part in how you would look, right? There are certain people. So, for example, my height. Quite often, I was really conscious about my height because I am, 5'7", maximum 5'8" on a good day, and I would feel that, oh, I'm not tall enough, or I'm not taller than most more people around me, right? But height is a genetically controlled factor. There's nothing I could have done about it, right? What I could do is that I could keep going to the gym and I can eat healthy and I can maintain a nice sort of body size that I am satisfied with. But yes, so that was one point which made me realize. I was like, oh, okay, there are genetics at play. There's like the amount of time and effort he has put into it. And surely, yes, now 6 months or even like 7-8 months it's been since I had that conversation. I have progressed further. I can now lift more weights than I could before. I can run for longer. But so the point is that there has been an improvement, but in my head I now sort of understand where the issue was coming from. The second thing, the validation part, is where it gets really, really difficult to manage. Because no matter how many times my friends were telling me that, oh yeah, Ali, you look amazing, you look good, it's fine, in my head, it was never enough. And that's the problem. If you are not happy with how you look, if you're not happy with your body, no amount of validation or acceptance will work, because ultimately it's you, right? You dissatisfied every time you look yourself in the mirror. So how I tried to combat that was that very surely and very sort of in an aware manner, I started developing a healthy relationship with food, a healthy relationship with the gym and how I looked. There were days and there are still days where I'm really conscious about what I'm wearing, how I'm looking, how's my hairstyle. But on those days, I just allow myself to feel shit, right? I just accept, like, yeah, Ali, it's fine. You're feeling bad. It's okay. Just go to the gym and keep working harder. Don't sort of get obsessed with this concept. Now I realize that the video is sort of getting dragged on. So I am going to talk about this concept of validation and acceptance and how to sort of deal with it in a healthy manner in a second part of this video. So yeah, please do let me know how you feel about it, and do share your comments, and yeah, let's try and have a chat about such things. Thank you very much.